Guys, you won't believe this. Just when I thought things couldn't possibly get worse, now we're hit with these shocking videos. I honestly thought there was some hope, some chance to move on from all this madness until I saw him. I'm in disbelief. Michael Tate and the Newsboys, they're done. I mean, only Jesus can help them now. Seriously, it's hard to even wrap my mind around what's unfolding right now. You know, with each new revelation, it's getting harder and harder to believe that the Newsboys had no idea this was happening. We used to look at them as icons, as pillars in Christian music. Now, it feels like everything is unraveling. A woman has come forward with an accusation against Michael Tate. She claims that after a late-night gathering in 2014, she believes Tate drugged her. She says she blacked out and woke up to find herself assaulted by Matthew Brewer, the Newsboys' lighting technician, in a hotel room in Fargo, North Dakota. The worst part? Michael Tate was in the room when it happened. According to the video footage and the police report, he was right there, watching it unfold. Nicole said she was on tour with the Newsboys back in 2014 during the pre-Christmas period. The crew had a couple of days off in Fargo, and Nicole, who was working with the crew, was at the hotel with some of the band members and crew. Everything seemed chill. She wasn't feeling great because of her period, so her plan was to just grab some food, hang out, and then head to bed early. But then, around 9 p.m., all the crew started rolling in, and that's when the vibe started shifting. Tate was one of the last to show up, but once he did, he started acting wild, throwing money around, buying drinks, and just making it clear that it was time to party. Nicole says it was fine. She wasn't even that close with Brewer, the lighting guy, but she was just hanging out. Everyone was having a good time. But by 1 a.m., it was like everything changed. Nicole wasn't really trying to drink too much, but when Tate called her over to take a shot of tequila with him and Birch, she figured, why not? It's just one shot, right? But after that shot, she remembers nothing, absolutely nothing. And here's the part that's got me fuming. Video footage from that night shows what happened after that drink. Nicole was drugged, blacked out, and when she came to, she was being assaulted by Matthew Brewer, the lighting tech. And guess who was in the room? Michael Tate, watching. I can't even process this. How can you be there and just watch that happen? Man, this is where it gets even worse. After leaving the bar, Nicole is seen walking out alone, but there's Brewer following her into the elevator. The footage shows them getting off at the 3rd floor, and it's clear that something's not right. Nicole is trying to get back to her room, but she can't even get the door open. So she turns around, and that's when Brewer steps in. They start heading down the hallway toward his room instead. But what really got to me is that you can see her stumbling. She's clearly not herself. And that's when things take a dark turn. She tries to walk, but you can tell she's not stable. She's struggling to keep her balance. And then, boom, she falls. And what does Brewer do? He just stands there, watching her fall, watching her struggle to get back up. I'm sitting here furious. How could he just stand there like that? This is a woman in distress. And instead of helping her or getting her help, he just stands there waiting for her to pick herself up. It's sickening. I don't care what kind of excuse someone tries to make for him. There's no justification for this. And it gets worse. She's in a state where she can barely hold herself together, and instead of being a decent human being and making sure she's okay, Brewer takes her to his room. This is what makes it feel like it was all planned out. They were waiting for the right moment, and Nicole was too vulnerable to stop it. I can't even begin to process how dark and twisted this situation is. After everything that's come out, it's like the whole thing just keeps getting worse. So after Tate knocks on Brewer's door at 1:29 a.m., the footage shows him coming in, and Brewer steps out to talk to him. What happens next is just straight up disturbing. Tate and Brewer start getting way too close, laughing and whispering, and Tate runs his hand up Brewer's body and even gropes him. I mean, what the heck is going on here? This is beyond inappropriate. It's flat out disgusting. It's clear from that moment that something just doesn't feel right. Then Nicole opens the door a few minutes later. She's fully dressed but looking off, barely holding it together. She moves into the hallway and the three of them start talking. But the real kicker? She ends up going back into the room with Brewer, and Tate follows behind them, closing the door. What we know now is that Nicole didn't want this to happen. She said she doesn't remember any of it, but made it clear she would have never gone back into that room had she been in her right mind. She believed she was drugged, something like Rohypnol, GHB, or ketamine mixed with alcohol, lowering her inhibitions and leaving her completely vulnerable. This is a nightmare scenario. The drugs and alcohol mixed together can knock you out but still allow you to move and talk, while your memory of the whole situation is completely wiped. It's called being roofied, and it's terrifying to think that's exactly what happened to her. To make matters worse, this isn't the first time Tate has been linked to this kind of behavior. In a previous investigation, some guys claimed they were drugged by Tate and left in a semi-conscious state, unable to fight off sexual advances. It's chilling to think that there's a pattern here. Despite all this, the tour manager, Steve Campbell, claimed he's never seen Tate use drugs. But Tate himself admitted to abusing cocaine and drinking way too much alcohol. So what's really going on behind closed doors? How far does this go? As the night goes on, Nicole's friends start looking for her because they haven't seen her since she took that tequila shot. They're getting worried. They ask around, and Brewer says she's downstairs with John Birch, but they know that's a lie. Nicole doesn't even smoke, so they start knocking on Brewer's door. When he opens it, he's shirtless and sweaty. The lights are off, and he gives them some excuse about Nicole being downstairs. But they know something's wrong. What Nicole remembers is so horrifying. After taking that tequila shot from Tate, the next thing she recalls is waking up on a bathroom floor feeling like 1,000 pounds were pressing down on her. She couldn't even move, and when she heard Brewer's voice and Tate's voice, she realized what had happened. She remembers feeling like her head was pushed down, and the next thing she knew, she believed she was assaulted. She doesn't even fully remember everything. Man, this whole situation is just a nightmare. After everything that went down, Tate tries to brush it off as some kind of moment of weakness. He even told Nicole, "I'm a grown man who tours, and sometimes I just have these urges. We all sin. We all make mistakes, and I've prayed and I've asked for forgiveness." Can you believe that? He's literally admitting to watching the whole thing go down and acting like it's no big deal. That's his excuse? And then, to make matters worse, he tells Nicole's friends, "I had a moment of weakness. I should have done the right thing. I did not touch her, but I was in the room and I watched. Of course, I was turned on." That is so messed up, man. He doesn't even seem to grasp how wrong that is. You're telling me you were in the room watching this happen, and you're just going to say, "Well, I made a mistake and I prayed for forgiveness." No, that's not how this works. This isn't some minor slip-up. This is abuse. And the way the band and their management are responding, just as bad. Newsboys' management is trying to act like they had no clue about what was going on, saying, "We didn't hear about any alleged criminal activity until June 12, 2025. Are you serious? You're telling me after everything that happened back in 2014, this is the first time they're hearing about it? They're acting like they didn't know." And more people are going to speak out, and soon the newsboys won't be able to hide behind their so-called innocence anymore. The truth is coming to light, and it's clear these years of deception and lies are finally catching up with them. They can't keep pretending like they didn't know what was going on. People are going to keep coming forward one by one, and the walls of this fake image they've built will come crumbling down. You know what's wild? This whole situation is making it crystal clear that the band's image was just that, an image. This isn't what you would call a Christian band anymore. Not by any stretch of the imagination. The whole idea of spreading the gospel and being role models, that's all out the window now. When you've got alcohol-fueled parties, drugs, and sexual misconduct behind closed doors, what's the difference between this and what you'd expect from a secular, non-Christian band? They've no difference. If anything, it's worse because they were supposed to represent something higher, something pure, but all of that is shattered now. It's not just about the alcohol, the drugs, or the inappropriate behavior. It's about the lies they've been telling for years, pretending to be above all of it, while hiding their true actions. They were just playing the part, and for a long time people believed it. But no more. People are done with the fake narrative they've been selling. They can no longer pretend to be these saints, especially when you hear about the manipulation and cover-ups that have been going on. And what's worse is the way they've tried to distance themselves from the real issues. They try to act like they didn't know what was happening, like they weren't complicit. But the truth is, they were part of a system that allowed this behavior to thrive for years. Their excuses, their fake apologies, it's not enough anymore. People see through it. The truth is too loud and it's too real for them to keep hiding behind their Christian brand.